Hi, I'm Zhenia Melnyk and this is United 24 Media. Russia launched 5 aerial bombs on the city of Zaporizhzhya, killing 9 people, including a 1-year-old boy, on November 7th. The head of the Zaporizhzhya military administration, Ivan Fedorov, announced that an additional 42 people were wounded. Russian forces targeted the downtown area with the brunt of the impact, damaging a center of oncology.
My child is in the intensive care unit and my wife is in the hospital with fractured bones. They were taken by ambulances there. My wife has fractures and I don't know what kind of injuries my son has. He is in the ICU ward.
17 cancer-ridden patients and 8 medics injured in the strike were transferred to safety. A 5-year-old boy and 4 other wounded civilians remain in critical condition after the guided aerial bomb exploded in their proximity, noted Fedorov. The city announced a day of mourning for November 8 due to the Russian strike. A fire broke out at a Russian oil refinery in the city of Saratov after a drone strike on the night of November 7th. The next morning, the regional governor announced that Russian air defenses shot down several drones over Saratov, with some wreckage falling in the industrial district. Meanwhile, local residents shared footage of the supposed impact, causing a fire to break out in the vicinity of the refinery. Drones struck the Russian city of Kaspiysk, targeting a military naval base, reported the governor of Dagestan Republic on November 6. He stated that air defenses shot down a drone over the city. However, onlookers posted videos of a flyby crashing into the local port. According to Astra Media, the base, which came under attack, houses units of coastal troops, including naval infantry. Local media reported the closure of the capital's airport in Makhachkala due to an aerial threat. The Russian flotilla stationed there has launched missile attacks on Ukraine, while the 177th Marine Infantry Regiment has engaged in battles in the Kherson and Zaporizhzhya regions, stated Astra. To follow the latest news from Ukraine, subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a comment down below. President Zelenskyy congratulated Republican candidate Donald Trump on his victory in the US presidential elections on his X page. He expressed his appreciation for Trump's approach of peace through strength in global affairs, reiterating the need for putting an end to Russian aggression and bringing a just peace to Ukraine. Zelenskyy also communicated his anticipation of continued bilateral support for Ukraine on the part of the United States, political and economic cooperation, and a strengthening of the two countries' strategic partnership. Back in September, Zelenskyy met with Trump in New York, who stated it was time Russia's war in Ukraine was settled.
So we're going to work very much with both parties to try and get this settled and get it worked out. It has to end at some point. It has to end. He's gone through hell, and this country has gone through hell like few countries have ever. Like it's happened anywhere. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's a terrible situation.
Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha noted on X that both presidents will work together to strengthen the Ukraine-US strategic partnership and bring a comprehensive, just and lasting peace closer. At least 2 civilians were wounded in a Russian drone strike on Kyiv, the State Emergency Service reported on November 7th. In the early morning, Moscow launched over 30 Shahed-type suicide drones that were subsequently shot down by the Ukrainian air defense. According to the city mayor, falling debris stoked flames in 4 districts, affecting a medical facility, fortunately without fatalities. The 33rd floor of a residential high-rise, a business center and a private house also catching fire. 2 bystanders were injured by the wreckage and were rushed to hospital. The sappers are completing demining sweeps as explosive parts from the Shahed drone were left uncovered. A Russian-launched Shahed drone attacked Kharkiv for the first time since summer, adding to a constant stream of everyday aerial threats. The Kharkiv Regional Prosecutor's Office reported that on the evening of November 6, Moscow launched a suicide UAV assault on the city, with the drone being shot down. Fragments of falling debris wounded at least 3 civilians.
You know, the city of Kharkiv suffers every day from Russian aerial threats, and usually it's guided aerial bombs or ballistic missiles. So the last time a Shahed drone threatened Kharkiv was during the summer, when 3 state emergency service members were killed. Fortunately, today, only 2 or 3 people received minor injuries from the debris, as far as I know.
Russia, over the course of the past week, has launched around 900 bombs, almost 500 Shahed drones and 30 missiles against the territory of Ukraine. The majority of them targeted civilian objects and critical infrastructure, reported President Zelenskyy on his Telegram. He added that the strikes could have been prevented if appropriate sanctions had been implemented against Russia, in particular prohibiting the import of parts and components essential to the production of Russian drones and missiles. Russia has begun the widespread use of Shahed drones equipped with thermobaric warheads, which are manufactured in Tatarstan Republic. The warheads emit a cloud of fire upon detonation, reaching temperatures of up to 2,600 degrees Celsius, rapidly filling the surrounding space. They are accompanied by a shock wave which inflicts damage to the lungs, hearing, and other vital internal organs. The thermobaric warhead is most effective in enclosed space, such as an apartment, and for this reason is used by Russia to target and kill Ukrainian civilians, according to the Prosecutor General's office. Ukraine, however, has been making innovations of its own, including the recently unveiled Polyanitya long-range rocket drone and the Neptune anti-ship cruise missile, which sank the Russian warship Moskva. As its weapons production expands, Ukraine has been conducting increasingly ambitious long-range drone strikes deep within Russia, hitting strategically valuable targets such as oil refineries, air and naval bases, arms manufacturing facilities, and other military sites. These targets are located hundreds, sometimes thousands of kilometers beyond the border. One of the most effective strikes to date was on a major arms storage facility in Toropets in the Tver region, approximately 500 kilometers from Ukraine's border. This and other strikes, like an oil refinery in the Russian city of Saratov on the night of November 7th, are evidence of rapidly evolving Ukrainian drone capabilities. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock gave a statement during a visit to the village of Yahidne on November 5th. Baerbock condemned the deployment of North Korean troops to Russia. She claimed that the involvement of DPRK soldiers on the battlefield would serve to prolong Russia's war in Ukraine, which she described as being one of obliteration and a campaign of destruction. The village of Yahidne in the Chernihiv region experienced a harrowing 28 days of Russian occupation in March 2022.
The suffering, the inhumanity that people experienced here still chokes you up today. Over 350 people crammed into the basement of a school, babies, old and elderly people. Everyone had only half a square meter of space, barely able to move, nothing to eat in the dark. People who had died, children who didn't know what was happening to them. This place makes it clear, and that is also why I'm here today, what Russian occupation means.
Baerbock stated that the terror the residents of Yahidne experienced is a testimony to the destructive nature of Russia's aggression. She likewise described the critical need for air defense in Ukraine, endorsing German investment in support of Ukraine's capabilities to protect its skies.
In other words, the further development of self-protection and self-defense, especially in the air against drones, is something that also strengthens and protects our own security. And that is why we, as the German government, have provided so much help to Ukraine over the last 2.5 years, especially in the area of air defense, because, as I said, this air defense is also the best protection for our own security.
Baerbock also paid a visit to one of the units protecting the border with Russia in the Chernihiv region. Head of the State Border Guard Service, Lieutenant General Serhiy Deineko, expressed his gratitude to Germany for their support of Ukraine's capacity to defend its borders in the face of Russian armed aggression, while also underlining the continued need for additional equipment. The US has announced a $425 million security assistance package for Ukraine. The Department of Defense stated the aid is to address Ukraine's urgent security and defense requirements. The package includes munitions for NASAMS, Stinger missiles, ammunition for HIMARS, Javelin and 84 anti-armor systems, artillery shells, and medical supplies. According to the statement, this is the Biden administration's 69th tranche of equipment to be provided from the Pentagon's inventories to Ukraine since August 2021. 6 Ukrainian prisoners of war have been executed by Russian forces in the Pokrovsk direction. Regional prosecutors are investigating how 3 Ukrainian servicemen were taken prisoner on October 23rd during an assault on the city of Selidove in the Donetsk region, shortly after which they were killed. Additionally, on November 1st, another group of 3 Ukrainian POWs were summarily executed by Russian soldiers. The Prosecutor General's office is corroborating additional details as the indictment of a war crime is being drafted. Ukrainian defenders repelled a large-scale Russian assault in the Donetsk region. On November 6, the Incognito Battalion of the 54th Mechanized Brigade shared footage of Russian armor burning down near the city of Siversk. Russian forces lost 2 tanks, 4 IFVs and APC with 10 soldiers killed in action and 12 more wounded due to carefully laid out mines and additional fortifications designed to stop the motorized advance. A new period of instability in the world. Ukraine calls for concrete actions following the DPRK troop deployment to Russia. In his address posted on Telegram, President Zelenskyy expressed his gratitude towards the preparation of an appropriate response in support of Ukraine, warning, however, of an impending rise of uncertainty in global security.
Terror, unfortunately, can spread like a virus when it does not meet sufficient counteraction. Now our counteraction must be sufficient, strong enough. Together with the world, we must do everything to make this Russian step to expand the war really escalate it, to make this step a failure, both for them and for North Korea.
Meanwhile, the Ukrainian Minister of Defense confirmed in an interview with a South Korean news agency that the Ukrainian military had its first clash with North Korean troops, though small scale, and it would take more time for them to be fully deployed to the Kursk front line. Ukrainian FPV pilots fought their way through Russian encirclement in the Kursk region. The Horn Group regiment posted footage on November 3rd, illustrating the predicament the Ukrainian pilots got themselves into because of a scouting miscalculation. The FPV pilots had plenty of ammunition with them to fight off the Russian forces for a 4-hour period, until their infantry broke the encirclement and rescued the operators, along with a stray dog.
We saved the doggy, who ran away as if telling us to hell with Russians, jumping in our car without a command. Good boy.
This is it for today. We are United 24 Media. Thank you for being with us and see you next week.